Alright, hey guys, remember was TCG back with a new video. So with this video, I'm going to be bringing a Labyrinth deck profile. So Labyrinth is a new archetype that came out at Tactical Masters, and it's a trap-oriented deck, and it's a pretty solid deck and pretty fun to use. So yeah, let's get started here. So here's the main boss monster of the deck. This is lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. I decided you only really need one copy of this card because you're just able to bring this card back in multiple ways, since you have like the main card they're going to be using is the Labyrinth, and this can be used to like revive it. But there's also other cards like the Welcome Labyrinth that lets you special summon one Labyrinth monster from your deck. So usually you're going to use that to go into your lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. And yeah, it's pretty solid. Just need one card, and being able to destroy one card in your opponent's hand is very just a powerful card to have. And yeah, it's powerful still, just having it on one copy. Two copies of Ariane. So Ariane, the main thing about this is that you're going to be using her in order to go into your Ariana, and then from there you can exceed. And yeah, that's going to be the main play you're going to want to use for this. But you can see that their effects, both of these, all of them actually, have this effect that basically if another monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect, then you can do something. So that's why you're going to want to be running a lot of traps that remove monsters on your opponent's side of the field. So yeah, normally the combo that you're going to want to do is use Ariane and then send one normal trap from your hand to the grave, and then you're going to want to use that to special summon Ariana. And then Ariana, when it's special summon, you can add one Labyrinth card from your deck to your hand. So from there you can choose, depending on what you have or what you need, you can use that to just search out the field spell or to go into your Welcome Labyrinth. So you just have to choose from there. And then for another way of searching out your Labyrinth cards, it's going to be Labyrinth Chandrigalier. So the main thing about this is that you're just going to be sending in and discarding a card in order to set one Labyrinth spell trap from your hand or deck. So that's pretty solid, so you can just use that to go into your Labyrinth, or to use it to go into your Welcome Labyrinth. And same thing with the Labyrinth Stove Toby. The main thing about this is that Stove Toby can be special summoned if a monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect, while Labyrinth Chandrigalier is just going to be used like if you remove one of your opponent's monsters from their side of the field using a normal trap, you're just going to add this card back to your hand. And then here I run for hand traps 3 Ash Blossom because it's a good generic hand trap, just great to fit into every deck, so you just put it here. Then since this is a Fiend deck that's based on like that's trap oriented, you're going to want to run an Absolute King Back Jack. This card is insane just because you're able to use this. You can just easily like normal summon into this if you choose to do so, or you can special summon it in other ways, since it's a Fiend monster and it works really well with this deck. But yeah, you're going to be using this card in order to search the top of your deck and see what normal trap you're going to want to set down. 3 Pot of Extravagance, because I think drawing is pretty great in this deck, and your extra deck isn't super important, but you are able to utilize it in some ways, and you will see that when we get to the extra deck. 2 Labyrinth. This card, the main thing is that it synergizes with Welcome Labyrinth, and you're going to be able to pop another card on the field once you activate Welcome Labyrinth. And yeah, usually you're gonna use you're gonna have Labyrinth and then Welcome Labyrinth, and activate Welcome Labyrinth. You're gonna use this to destroy another card in the field. Then with Welcome Labyrinth, you can special summon your lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. And if you activate a non-Labyrinth normal trap, you can special summon one Fiend monster from your hand or grave. So that's why I was saying, like, you're just able to get back lovely Labyrinth after you use Welcome Labyrinth. So it's pretty great just to have one copy of this and then 2 of these, because you have great ways of searching into it because of these cards right here. Then we run 2 copies of Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch. So the great thing about this is that it's a form of removal. Another thing is it's not recognized as a Labyrinth card. So the only thing about that is that you're just going to be using this as just generic removal. Target one card in the field, destroy it, then you can send one Fiend monster from your deck to the grave. So of course that works really well with this deck. Because a lot of these cards, for instance, like the Labyrinth Chandrigalier, if you use a card to remove something on the field, you're going to be able to use them to either special summon it or to bring it back to your hand, or Absolute King Back Jack that actually does really well when it's in the grave. So you're going to want to be using that to just dump Absolute King Back Jack, and from there you're going to be able to like excavate, or look at the top 3 once it's sent to the grave, and then excavate using its effect. Then one of the main cards of the deck, Welcome Labyrinth. This is going to be your main way of special summoning into your lovely Labyrinth, and it's just an important card. It obviously synergizes well with the Labyrinth, and you're going to need this. So definitely 3 copies. 3 Imperm as the other hand trap, since it's a trap. I thought it was fitting, and it can synergize really well with the deck. 3 Ice Dragon's Prison, because this is a form of removal. It's just great because it serves as a way of banishing a card in their grave, as well as banishing a card in their field. So it's just really strong, and not only that, it's also a non-target banish. So it's just a great way of removal. Then we run one copy of Trap Trick, because this card lets you just go into your normal trap cards. Of course, you're gonna have to be careful with this, because since your traps are the main core of the deck, you're going to want to be careful on how you use Trap Trick, because it'll restrict you to only being able to activate one trap card for the rest of the turn after this card resolves. So you're going to want to be careful with the timing, but it is a really great card to just be able to use your other cards from it. And then 2, Dogmatic Punishment. And yeah, it's a form of removal that's really strong. And of course, if you've ever used Dogmatic Punishment, you know this synergizes well with the extra deck. And then 3 copies of Compulse, because it's a non-destruction form of removal that also triggers their effects. So really great to have 3 copies of here. Now before we go to the extra deck, if you guys are enjoying the video and want to support the channel directly, consider looking at the link in the description down below. It'll take you to the Patreon, or if you want to buy some cards and support the channel, use my affiliate link in the description down below as well. That helps. And if you just want to like, comment, and subscribe, that helps too. So let's just get started here. So these main cards in the beginning here are just, you know, we're going to be running a lot of targets. So since we only have 2 Dogmatic Punishment, you might be wondering why we have so many cards that work with it. And the reason is that Pot of Extravagance is going to be banishing a lot of cards randomly. So you're not going to want to lose potential outs with Dogmatic Punishment just because of chance. So you're going to want to be running a decent amount of copies of the cards that you really need, and the ones that could substitute for it. So here I run 1 copy of the Fossil Warrior Skull Knight. This is just going to be a card that you can use for any time you want to destroy something. Same thing with Skull Wagon, target 1 spell trap on the field. That could be useful. Of course, these are slow, so you're just going to have to keep that in mind. And then 3 of the Elder Entity Nest, which is going to be your main one if you're going to want to just activate it right away and just pop something on the field. 2, Wind Pegasus at Igniter, because when this card, when one of your cards is destroyed by an opponent's battle or by card effect, then you can banish this card and target 1 card your opponent controls and shuffle it back into the deck. It's just a really strong card to have in your grave. And those are going to be the main targets for your Dogmatic Punishment. And then here we have DDD Wave King Caesar, and we have DDD Divisor King Deus Machinex. So the main thing about King Caesar is that it lets you go into the Divisor King, and Divisor King is basically just a monster. It's a form of monster negate where you could also take the monster. So it's pretty strong, and it's just easy to go into since you're running 2 level 4 fiends. Might as well just use this. Then we have Baguska, because Baguska is great if you don't have any plays and you just want to sit on a Baguska. Just a strong card to have there. And then we run 1 copy of Evil Swarm Nightmare, because this is a form of disruption, because when your opponent special summons a monster, you can detach 1 material from this card, change that special monster to the face on defense position. So it's just easy. You know, you're gonna be able to use this multiple times in a turn and just disrupt them. It's gonna be difficult for them to link them or do anything with it besides tributing if they're flipped face down. So it's just a great disruptive card. And then we have 1 copy of Master King Archfiend, because this is going to be a great way of just dumping 1 fiend monster that you need from the deck to the grave. And it's also fun using the 6-sided dice effect. And then 2 Linkaribos and the Anima. So this is just a lot of targets for the Absolute King Backjack if you're forced to normal summon it and just want to get rid of it right away. That's going to be a great way of doing it. And you're just running multiple copies just in case Pot of Extravagance, you know, you get unlucky. Now for the side deck, I considered using the 2 copies of the lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. Decided it's definitely not needed. You just have a lot of ways to bring it back. So just run 1 copy of it, in my opinion. Labyrinth Archfiend, it's going to be your way. It's supposed to be a beat stick for the deck. Don't think it's that strong. And if a trap card is activated, you can special summon this card from your hand. So that could be decent just to get out for free. And if this card is special summoned, you can set 1 normal trap from your deck that can only be activated when attack is declared. That's what kind of kept me for using it, because there is a card like that in the archetype that you can consider running. This called Fair Welcome Labyrinth. Decided not to run it because don't really need that in there. And just being able to target 1 card on the field, negate the attack, and if you destroy the target attack, it's okay. It can actually be pretty good if you synergize well with it, but decided to not run either of these. But if you guys want to test them out, definitely go for it. 3 effect failure for more hand traps, because the deck is kind of lacking hand traps, but you do have a form of disruption through the traps. So you guys can consider cutting some things if you want to run more hand traps. And then 1 copy of Cyframe Lord Omega. I tested it out. Don't really think it's needed or it's necessary with Dogmatic of Punishment, because all you're going to be using is to shuffle one other card in the grave and shuffle it back into the deck. Don't think it's powerful enough to include in here. Excitionite. Again, this card is actually pretty strong, but we just need to see if you have space for it. Decided these ratios were good for me. If you want to consider this as another rank 4, then definitely do that. Pot of Prosperity as another way of for Pot of Extravagance. I prefer the Pot of Extravagance just because I'm okay with the random banish because I don't need specific cards. And then, I just want to draw more cards just to have more traps that I'm able to use. So Labyrinth setup, I think, has the potential to be really strong. The only thing about this is that you don't run a lot of Labyrinth spell and traps. Weirdly enough, I only run the Welcome Labyrinth and the Labyrinth. But yeah, if you run enough of them where you can actually have your grave filled with them, you're going to be able to use this in order to search out two non-Labyrinth traps from your deck and put them on the field. Pretty solid, but definitely decided I'm not going to need that. Fair Welcome I already covered. Torrential Tribute is a form of disruption and getting rid of your opponent's monster and preventing them from building a board. The only thing about that is that the destruction isn't convenient, and unless you time it right, if they get an indestructible monster, there's a lot of indestructible monsters that you don't really want to deal with that. So that's why I think Compulse, just being able to bounce it back, is good. But of course, consider that if you want to test it out. Labyrinth Barrage is okay. When you activate a set normal trap, this effect becomes that normal trap. So it's similar to Trap Trick, but don't really think I needed this. I just decided to just run the normal Trap Trick with that. And then Dimensional Barrier as a, just to stop your opponent from using certain cards in their extra deck. I think it's strong, but decided that it wasn't actually synergizing well with the deck because it wasn't a form of removal. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you did. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.